ቅልጡ እባላለሁ 11ኛ ክፍለ ጦር 5ኛ ሬጅመንት አዛዥ ነኝ። የተማረኩት በአመያ አካባቢ ነው በ21 12 2014 ማለት ነው።
ስሜ ሻምበል በሩን በቀለ ይባላል። የተማረኩበት ከልዩ ዘመቻዎች ኃይል ኮማንዶ 105ኛ ክፍለ ጦር። የተማረኩበት ቦታ በወልዲያ ወደዚህ ከቆቦ ወደዛ ጎብዬ የሚባል አካባቢ የሆነ ባቡር ሀዲድ አለ። እዛ አካባቢ ነው የተማረኩት። ነሐሴ 23 2014
ትክክል። መቶ አለቃ ተካለኝ ይባላለሁ። ከ105ኛ ክፍለ ጦር ኮማንዶ ማለት ነው። በወልዲያና በቆቦ ትንሽ አለፍ እንዳለ የመጀመሪያው ውጊያ ነው የተሳተፍነው እኛ የኮማንዶ አባላት። ስለዚህ በ23 ነው የተማረክነው።
የፋሽስቱ ቡድን ለሰላማዊ ድርድር ዝግጁ ነኝ እያለ ኢትዮጵያንና የዓለም ማህበረሰብን ሲያደናግር ቆይተዋል። ለሰላም ዝግጁ ነኝ እያለ በተግባር ግን ዳግም ትግራይን ለመውረር ከፍተኛ ወታደራዊ ዝግጅት ሲያደርግ እንደቆየና ጦርነቱ ራሱ እንደጀመረው በቅርቡ የተማረኩ ከፍተኛ አመራሮችና የልዩ ዘመቻ አባላት ተናግረዋል።
እኛም እየተዘጋጀን ነው። ስልጠና ሰልጥነዋል። ሁሉም በየመሳሪያው አባሉም አመራሩም ሰልጥነናል።
እኛ እንገባለን ብለን አላሰብንም፣ ግን መንግስት ነው እንደዚህ ጦርነት ውስጥ እንድንገባ ያደረገን። በግዳጅ ነው፣ በቃ ተዘጋጅ ነው። ሁሉ ጊዜ አመራር እምቢ ካልክ አድርግ አታድርግ ነው ተምሬ የመጣው ነው የምትባለው፣ ትመታለህ። እኛም ሁሉም ሰው ጦርነቱን የጀመረው የኢትዮጵያ መንግስት ነው።
ተዘጋጁ ነው፣ መንግስቱም ተዘጋጁ፣ የትም ተዘጋጁ፣ ቀንም ተዘጋጁ ነው። ሄደን የአማራ ክልልን ነፃ አውጥተን ቆቦ አላማጣንና ዋጃን ጥሙጋን እንቆጣጠራለን የሚል የመሳሪያ ልዩነት ዘመናዊ መሳሪያ መጣ። ውጊያ ሊጀመር ይችላል።
የፋሽስቱ ቡድን ራሱን በለኮሰው ዳግም ጦርነት ግንባር ላይ ከፍተኛ ሰብአዊና ቁሳዊ ኪሳራ እንደደረሰው እነዚህ ከፍተኛ አመራሮችና የልዩ ዘመቻ አባላት የነበሩ ምርኮኞች ገልጸዋል።
ኪሳራውን አሁን በቁጥር በአሃዝ ይህን ያህል ባልለውም በአጠቃላይ ግን ብዙ ንብረት እየወደመ ነው፣ ብዙ ህይወት እየጠፋ ነው። በቃ ወጣቱ ሙሉ በሙሉ መንገድ ሜዳ ላይ እየቀረ ነው፣ እንደ ቅጠል እየረገፈ ነውና ጦርነት አስከፊ ነው እንጂ ጠቃሚ ስላልሆነ ቢቀር። በጥቅሉ ግን እንደ ሀገር መከላከያ ሰራዊት በርካታ ምርኮኛ አለ፣ በጣም በርካታና ይሄ ህዝብ ብዙ ሰው ይፈልገዋል፣ ቤተሰብ ይፈልገዋል፣ ለሀገር ይጠቅማልና ቢቻል ጦርነት ቢቆም ሰላም ቢመጣ
ይበዝ እንደ ክፍለ ጦር የወጡ ያሉ አይመስለኝም። እዛ ዙሪያ ተከበን ስለነበር ስታፍ አካባቢ የወጣ ሰው ሊኖር ይችል ይሆናል እንጂ ሬጅመንቶች እንደ ግዳይ ላይ ያለ ነው፣ ምሽግ ያለ ነው፣ የወጣ ነው የለም። አብዛኛው ተማርኳል። የተወሰነ ሞትም አለ።
ደርሰልናል ስላልነበር ያው ምንም አማራጭ ስላልነበረ ነው ያተቆርጠን እጃችን የሰጠነው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ያው ብዙ ጓዶቻችን ያው የቀሩ አለ። በዛ በውጊያ ምክንያት ያው የተሰው አለ፣ የቆሰለ አለ፣ ምን አለ። ያው በተለያየ ምክንያት ሊወጣም ያልቻለ ብዙ ጓዶች አሉ። ስለዚህ ያው ብዙ መስዋዕትነት ተከፍለዋል ማለት ነው።
Wow, that's all I can say, my friend. Welcome to the show, Mikey Tigre. How have you been, my friend? Come to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to see you, buddy. It's been a while since we last had the movement going, the Oromoo, the Tagaru on space, on Twitter space, and now I get to see you here. So good to see you, buddy.
Yep, for sure. You know how Oromos are, you know. This is Oromo Republicans. We're the one, you know, talking to with TDF, and we're telling TDF, you know, get your independence. We're going to get our Oromo independence, and we're going to end Ethiopia. If we don't end Ethiopia, the suffrage continues.
So how are you going to say that in Afan Oromo? So your viewers know what you just say.
Oh, Afan Oromo, akkana jedhan ka Afan Oromo tette. Namni sin argu jirtan kun nama Tigreeti. Namni Tigree kun, you know, jaalala no ajaba walirraa hin qabnu, because jaalala ajaba walirraa hin qabnu, garuu nu lachuu Itoophiyaan haa diigamtuu feene. Tarte achi abadduu feene Itoophiyaan. Get rid of Ethiopia. Kanaaf malee nu jara waliin illee, you know, deemnee nama biraa nyaatuuf hajaa takka hin qabnu. So I just let them know.
So
Oromo Republicans and TDF partnership is not about going and saving Ethiopia and then sucking everybody else's blood. We have no interest in that. TDF should get their country. Oromo should get our country. And the Amara should get their Abyssinia. And everybody else just goes their separate ways. Why would I say that? Because Ethiopia did not work for 150 years. I think we should end it, man. On that video we just watched, Mikey, as usual, the lying Ethiopian government is saying those are not my soldiers.
That's sad, though. I should
Whose
not be
soldiers
laughing.
are those, man? Why are you guys holding Sudanese soldiers, man?
But can you imagine? So you bring them from like what? We have to say Finfine, obviously the proper city.
Yeah.
So these were the soldiers that, in what, 2.5 days of fighting, they were supposed to capture south of Tigray, the city of Alamata.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tigrayan Defense Forces, in about 2.5 days, they managed to capture over 6,500 soldiers, and who knows, sadly, how many have died. And so, yeah, I mean, we saw it all. It says it all, but Abiy Ahmed denies it every time this happens.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. What do you think will happen to those soldiers?
You know, so in Tigray, we have this principle. I'm sure, like when talking to like some of my Oromo brothers and sisters in activism, is that once somebody surrenders, they will be protected. And my guess is those who committed any kind of murder, any kind of rape, of course, they'll be in jail. But those who have not committed crimes and they were put on the front line to fight and they surrender, most of them, to be honest with you, they would be, they'll be released. And I know that's not Tigray's, some Tigray in the diaspora's favorite thing, but we don't, Tigray Defense Force, once you give up, you give up. They will send you back home. Especially right now, the head of the TDF generals have made it like publicly that everyone that's like Fano, even when they get captured, they'll take the weapons and then they'll let them go.
Yeah. It's crazy. Let me ask you this historically. Ethiopia have been bad to everybody. Ethiopia stole everything from us. They even said, don't speak Afan Oromo. They even want to steal our identity. When it comes to our food, all of it, they put Amhara names on it. And they went around the world and sold it as their product. And in terms of studying Ethiopia's history, I only know one thing that they stole from you guys. Queen Shaba belongs to TDF, man. Queen Shaba doesn't belong to Fano. Is that true?
Of course. Aksum, man. That's why she's called Queen of Sheba. But you made a good point, so how Afan Oromo was outlawed from 1941 until 1991. Imagine that. So throughout Haile Selassie and Mengistu era, it was completely outlawed in Ethiopia. So when you say Ethiopia did not work for 150 years, I don't know if Ethiopia's ever, because before that was Abyssinia, right? So I think it's more or less, for me, it's like the people within the country. It has been run by the elite, the Amhara elite, and they want to Amharanize most people. And with the fighting that's happening right now, civilians, Amhara civilians are also heavily suffering. But what have happened in Tigray, as you know, we talk on space so many times, and what's happened in Oromia the last 9-10 months. I mean, it's been brutal, and it's a state-sponsored terrorism in Oromia, in Tigray. Now TDF is pushed to the point where they have to defend themselves for 2.5 days, and then they ended up capturing all these soldiers. So now they're like in Waldia, which is so my hope is that they'll continue to push. Ola will push north, and they'll meet up again with TDF and Ola, and then this time around, I'm hoping this will be it. That they would actually march into Finfine together to get rid of the head of the thug who's in Addis or Finfine that's also committing the order of atrocities across Oromia and Tigray.
Right, but you think we should walk up to 4 kilo together?
You know, I mean, for me, like, I think if all eyes like, you know, got it together and they want to go at it, I think I think that's for the Oromo people to decide because you know, clearly the strength of Ola has been showing, like, you know, they've been elevating it, but having partnership, what it does is that it minimizes casualty for you, and then it basically overpowers the enemy. So having partnership is not a, you know, it's not a bad thing. But if Ola is able to do it alone with minimum casualties and they can do it quicker, then no. So it's a toss up.
Ola, Ola was the supporters of Ola. Let me just say supporters of Ola, right? The supporters of Ola were very disappointed when TDF went to negotiation without Ola. Of course, the head of Ola is not gonna tell us why TDF went to negotiation without Ola, without, like, you know, they should have brought Ola along. First they said they would do it, they won't negotiate without Ola being present too. But then when the final negotiation came, they did that, and then unfortunately, Abiy, he claims he's gonna be the greatest trickery of East Africa. He says he's gonna trick everybody and he's gonna defeat everybody by tricking them.
Mm-hmm.
So he bombed the school kids, right? Why he claims to have a peace negotiation.
And Makale, yep.
Right, he bombed the school kids. So we as Oromos, we see how nasty and dirty and how table can turn quickly. And as from Oromo's perspective, TDF, if we don't want a TDF to march to 4 kilo with us. We want a TDF to take over Bardar and stop over there until, you know, Fano stops doing what Fano does. So in this fight, Eritrea, how are you guys gonna deal with Eritrea? It seems like Eritrea is they want to end you guys. Like I don't understand why Eritrea have so much grudge
Well,
against TDF.
it's Isaias Afwerki who have had grudges all these years. You know, it's like an old dog can't chew the meat properly, so it goes like desperately and tries to bite every leg it finds. That's what
Right.
Isaias Afwerki does. It's not so much of Eritrea. In fact, it's actually a lot of Fano who are being like taken from Gondar through Hamora, which is Western Tigray, into Eritrea. And so Eritrea started with 6 fronts of fighting to enter to most of Tigray again, and now it's like spread to 10 fronts. So I think you know, as I mean, the way you put it, my guess, you know, my thinking is if Ola and TDF, you know, joins together, goes into Finfinne, march into Finfinne, they take over Finfinne, they take over what do you call it? What's the other airport? The major air force in
Gole?
Oromia. Well, no, that's inside like Finfinne, but no, there's like a Debre Zeit, I think, is the main base, the Air Force.
Yeah, they got one at Arba Mincha too.
Yeah. So if they, you know, if they take those 3 areas together, then you have Ola and TDF heading up to north using air power and ground forces to get rid of Higdef. Because remember, our Eritrean forces has been fighting in Oromia, as you know, as well as in Tigray. It's obvious, but even in Oromia, I mean, Fano is not fighting alone in Oromia. You know that Eritrea has deployed troops throughout Ethiopia and in Finfinne. A lot of the security apparatus are Eritreans.
For sure. The thing about Eritrea is Eritrea doesn't want you guys getting near 4 kilo.
But I don't think they have. I don't think that would be an option because when you put it this way, you got Kemant, Agob, TDF, you got Beshangul Gumez and Gambella already working with Ola, right? So now who you have left is Afar. You sway most of the Afaris to come with you. So if you have Ola, Gambella, Beshangul Gumez, Kemant, Agob, TDF, I mean these forces, they would go dismantle PP, right? So you don't have to actually dismantle Ethiopia. You dismantle the butcher government.
No, we don't want to dismantle a party. It's useless to dismantle a party.
No, but let me tell you why that actually what I'm saying makes sense. So once you get rid of the killer in Arat Kilo, then what you have is Afars will go back to Afar. Then Arat Kilo, Finfine, Bole, that becomes Oromia.
How do we
Obviously.
know? How do we know TDF doesn't betray us again?
Why would TDF need to stay in Finfine? TDF is in Tigray. You don't even have a land connection between. Yeah,
No,
so that's
they want to rule the whole thing again. What if TDF?
No. Now you're thinking the way the Amhara elite thinks, because we have no business. This is a thing. What the way TPLF work it out in the past, no Tigrayan in the diaspora and at home is going to stand for any kind of support to go into to be the police of Ethiopia to negotiate a deal again. It doesn't work like that.
We don't know what's in Darbatizon's head, and we just don't have insurance to trust that.
Well, I don't think you need insurance. The insurance is that the young Oromos, the young Tagaru, who are determined.
That's not the insurance that we want to spend.
I think so. Here's the thing, though. So if you look at it this way, what are the alternatives? Let's put it that way. What are the alternatives?
I'll give you alternative.
Okay.
This war should continue.
But for how long?
As long as nobody wants to fight for Ethiopia.
Well, which Ethiopia, though?
The capital city, Finfinne.
But that's not Ethiopia.
No, they're going to fortify the capital city. They're going to fortify the capital city, and he's going to get drones. Abiy is going to get drones, and they already got those, what do they call it? Republican guards. They're just going to guard the government officials, and then they're going to make the rebels wear each other's out. Because they're going to do that, we must keep up the triangle. The Oromos, we must keep up the triangle. The East, the North, and the West must keep fighting. By that means, TDF, Fano, and Ola must keep fighting until Ethiopia dismantles. That is why Abiy has no soldiers now. That is why so many soldiers, when they go by force, when Abiy government forces them to fight for them, that's why they're giving up easily.
Right, because they have nothing to fight for. They're surrendering.
Exactly,
massively.
they're surrendering too much, or they're joining the opposite army.
Of course.
Now, because of that, if Oromos, if we unite, we know you all gonna team up against us. It happened before several times. It's gonna happen again. So we cannot give you Oromo unity. If we give you Oromo unity, you're all gonna team up and eat this elephant in the room. Now, that's why we want to support TDF, and we're gonna support Abiy to a certain degree. If Fano starts losing, you better believe it. Oromo is gonna support Fano too. As soon as the war ends, Ethiopia is gonna be saved, and the poverty, the starvation, the dictatorship will continue. So we're gonna make that country ungovernable. Nobody can govern Ethiopia. Not TDF, not Fano, not Ola. Ola is only gonna govern Oromo. In order to do that, we cannot let the guards go down. We must support all three forces until Ethiopia dismantles. What do you think about that strategy of the Oromo Republicans?
I think that's a disastrous.
It is a disaster, baby, and we're gonna deliver it. Ethiopia is a disaster, so here is a disaster strategic plan.
But you're forgetting that the amount of there's 21 plus million people suffering right now throughout Ethiopia and Oromia and Tigray, Afar and Amhara region combined. 21 million people. So
the suffrage is for a better tomorrow.
What's that?
That suffrage is for a better tomorrow.
Yeah, I think. Well, so I think having Oromo been the largest population in Ethiopia, that makes it very hard to have everybody to unite, obviously, like we do in Tigray. That part I understand. but to have a supporter of Abiy Ahmed, it's shocking to me actually to hear anyone supporting Abiy Ahmed when there's actually a genocide in Tigray and Oromia. So to me, it's someone saying like, let's partially protect Hitler to continue part of the Jewish people to, commit the atrocities, because at this point, any Ethiopian, any human being that wants to support Abiy Ahmed is really, it's shocking, because what's happened in Tigray for the last 21 months, I have not been able to talk to my family. I can't make a phone call. They can't access their bank. People literally are dying of basic necessities from food and medicine.
Right.
And I think the amount of people suffering in Oromia, it is because Abiy Ahmed and Araskilo. So I think, what you're thinking, the suspicious might be the danger, where I think the Oromo community, I have no business to tell them how to live, but I think it will be important for unity of the Oromo to control the Oromia region, TDF to control the Tigray region. We don't need, let alone Oromia, even the Amhara region. Amhara should also not get dismantled, but go
Let
back
me
to
ask you this. Did people suffer? Did the Oromo people suffer during Menelik time?
Of course. I don't think there's...
All right. Did the Oromo people suffer during Haile Selassie time?
Of course.
Did Oromo people suffer during Mengistu time?
Of course they have.
Did Oromo people suffer during Mallas time?
Of course.
Did Oromo people suffer during Abiy time?
Of course.
You see, if we focus on the individuals, do you see how there is no difference made? But
There
if
is
we
a
focus,
difference. There is a
if we
difference.
focus on that Ethiopia, if Ethiopia dismantles and disappears,
No. But
then
so
Oromo people have no suffrage.
yeah, but that's not, you're not thinking. So you ask those questions, I answer them, right? But what we have in Tigray ethnically is not just suffering. It is an ethnic elimination by Eritrea, by Amhara elite and Fano and PP combined. They're trying to completely wipe out the Tigray population. We've seen it throughout it, like Finfine, going house to house, arresting any ethnic Tigrayans. You have 17,000 Tigrayan ethnic soldiers, federal troops, that were removed from the federal forces and are now suffering throughout Ethiopia's prison. So,
But we believe you guys have a strong capability to prevent elimination of Tigray people.
yeah, but at what expense?
At a less expensive than the expenses the Oromos paid.
But that's why you have, you should be thinking about unity, not division, because you're saying for Oromo, it's better to divide them than to unite them.
No, if we unite, the rest of you gonna unite against us as usual. But if we divide you guys and divide ourselves too, and support every fighting branch, then the end of Ethiopia will come.
That just doesn't make sense.
It's complicated political philosophy, isn't it? The reason is this. Why should I fight a war by myself? Because if Fano loses, I would have to go head to head with whomever else wants to rule Ethiopia.
But why do you need to rule Ethiopia?
We don't want that.
Right. So the way you're trying to protect your like specific group is, to me, the most like logical sense is that the Amhara fighters go into
TDF is never clear to us whether they want an independent state of Tigray or they want to remain under Ethiopia.
Well, let me ask you this.
They said all options are on the table.
No,
we don't
exactly.
trust that. Yeah, we don't trust that. Because we don't trust that, it should not be all options on the table. We tried that during Menelik time. We tried that during Haile Selassie time. We tried that during Mengistu time. We tried that during Mallasa time. We call it Mallasa in Oromo. I don't know if you guys know that, but during Mallas time we tried. And now,
but let me ask you this.
Abiy time we tried. It didn't work.
Right. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When Mellis was in power, were you able to travel to Ethiopia to Oromia region?
Yeah, during everybody's time we traveled. During Haile Selassie we traveled. During Mengistu
No,
we traveled.
I know that. I know,
Yeah.
but I don't think you're catching where I'm going with that question.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you know that now, as a Tigrayan Americans, I can't go to Tigray? Do you know that I can't send money to my family in Tigray?
Obviously, you're in a wartime.
This is not war. This is ethnic elimination. There's a siege. The entire Tigray has been under siege by a foreign country involved in this war, Eritrea. So the
My
way
friend, you're in a simple war, and you are very capable to defend yourself, and you guys are doing great job.
well, that I understand, but I
Look,
think
my friend, Mallas eliminated 45,000 Oromo soldiers by telling them, "I'm gonna have a peaceful negotiation with you. Come," and then he bombed them inside their camps when they put their guns down, and they're waiting for the negotiation results out of the leaders in the room. And instead of getting that negotiation, the choppers came and dropped the bombs on them. So we lost 45,000 soldiers in a 7-day period.
And when was this?
This
Mm-hmm.
This is when the Oromos got kicked out of the chapter.
Right. What year? 2005 or 2006?
Battery died there. Yeah, my battery died. My bad. I didn't plug it in. Can you hear me, Mikey?
Yep.
Yeah, man. We were talking about you guys were in a strong position to defend yourself. Unlike us, we suffered, but you guys gonna survive. I don't think you guys will be eliminated.
Well, we survived the worst of it. We still are fighting, obviously, but the way they came to us, it's been the most inhumane way of bringing drones, Eritrea, the entire Ethiopian troops, 10,000 Somalian troops that we argue over and over. Somalians say that never happened. Finally, to only realize that most of their soldiers were killed in the battlefield of Tigray.
Right.
But okay, so let's shift from that gear. So what's the next? How are we going to end this whole crisis? What's the role for the diaspora?
The role for the diaspora is really to continue supporting their teams. Everybody got a team. But in this team, there is no honesty. I feel like there is no honesty. I don't think Ola's going to be honest to you guys. I don't think you guys going to be honest to us. I don't think Fano's going to be honest to Abiy. Abiy is not going to be honest to anybody in that region. His mom is dead, so Abiy has nobody to even swear on. Somebody will say, "I swear I put it on my mother." Somebody will say that. Abiy don't even have that mother now.
So
and Isaias is robbing everything. That guy,
So who's Abiy's big supporter?
huh?
Who's Abiy's biggest supporter?
Who's up? Who's Abi's biggest supporter?
Yeah.
Number one is Amara. Number two is Oromo. Isaias is using him. I don't think he's supporting him. It's gonna make him broke by the end of this war. Abi is gonna be so broke.
Or captured.
Yep, it's because of that. Because of that, certain level of Oromo population is cool with all existing armies inside Ethiopia. All of them were cool with them.
But from my perspective, the way I see right now Ethiopia is we don't have to even think hard about it. It is already being dismantled, unfortunately, and no one is to blame for it except Abiy Ahmed, Isaias Afwerki, and Fano. No one else should be blamed for that dismantle. All I didn't dismantle Ethiopia. TDF did not dismantle Ethiopia.
They should though. They need to come out clear.
It's already
They
no.
don't
That's
come
what I'm
out
saying.
clear.
It's already been dismantled. We don't have to think that hard for it because like most of Oromia who controls.
No, it's not gonna be dismantled until the fortification of the capital city stops. That city is fortified, bro.
So who's gonna be in charge of it?
Brown Nagga and Abiy.
I think
And
Abiy will be
Amaras
gone.
Amaras don't like Brown Nagga. You know that.
Well, is he Oromo or is he an Amara?
Who? Brown Nagga?
Yeah.
He's half Amara and half something else. That's why Amara people don't like him.
So why do people say he's an Amhara?
Because he's half, and the other half they don't know. Just like Abiy. We don't know his dad, right? They told us his dad is Oromo, but we don't know who he is.
So his profile on like Wikipedia is wrong? That says he was born into an Oromo father?
We believe is wrong.
So why did they allow him to be the prime minister as an Oromo?
Because it's the Oromo's turn. Like it's a revolution, you know.
But there was already an Oromo.
Hijacking it.
Huh?
That's the only way they could hijack Oromo revolution.
Right, but the at that time the Oromo so you think like Abiy Ahmed was the best choice, not even knowing fully that whether or not he's an Oromo?
There is nobody is good to run Ethiopia. There is not one good person to run Ethiopia. We tried every region; it didn't work. We tried the southern people, didn't work. Tried Amara, didn't work.
What happened to Lama?
Oh, that one, that child was raised in the enemy's hand. So that child was no good. From day one, we knew he was no good.
I mean, wasn't he the chairperson that's supposed to be the prime minister instead of Abiy Ahmed?
Nah, he was the president of Oromia at the time. So Lamma, they will claim him he's 100% Oromo, so he won't satisfy the required need for diversity.
What kind of diversity do you need in Oromia?
But I don't know if you know, every time there is government transition in Ethiopia, every time the transitional leader was used as being an Oromo.
Including Malla Zenawi?
No, Malla Zenawi used Hassan Ali for the first 5 years. Mallas was not the leader of Ethiopia. He used the Oromo puppet guy named Hassan Ali to slaughter all those Oromos. And then once he slaughtered everybody out of the way, he became the prime minister. So I'll give you their names. There's this little boy named Lijiyasu. You know Lijiyasu? He was the Oromo, supposedly the Oromo kid that used as a transition between Menelik and Haile Selassie. Between Haile Selassie and Mengistu, there is an Oromo guy named Tafari Benti, used as the president of that transition. After this transition was over, Mengistu killed him and he became the prime minister. Between Mallas and Mengistu, there's a guy named Hassan Ali, was the first fucking leader of Ethiopia. during that period was when Mallas was negotiating and slaughtering everybody out of the way. So this is normal to us to during every government change in Ethiopia to use Oromo as the transition because we got the biggest population, we got the food, we got everything everybody needs. They use us like that. We understand that. That is why we want everybody to keep fighting until Ethiopia ends now. And the only thing Oromos do is donate money and be the voice for who we think is losing. That's how the game works, my friend. So if a TDF starts losing, you're gonna see so much support coming from Oromo for TDF on social media, financial donations, any other ways we can help uplift TDF. We will uplift TDF.
But
If a,
so,
T- if a TDF start destroying everybody in the region, we will support everybody that is losing to TDF. Eventually, everybody will hold their nose and say, Ethiopia stinks. I don't want it. We got to get people to say that. Ethiopia stinks. I don't want it. So many people, so many wars. We got to get everybody to that level. Otherwise, the empire of Ethiopia remains and the population stays starving.
so in the meantime, as long as this prolongs, so you think TDF should not be fighting,
No, they should be fighting.
but you say if they get stronger, you want to support the opponent so you can weaken them.
Yeah, if TDF is not, if you fighting and you're gonna stop fighting when you control your region, right? But as soon as you start making that trip toward the Finfinne, we're gonna support everybody that's trying to be in your way. The Afar is suddenly gonna get Oromo support. The Fano is gonna get Oromo support. You wouldn't believe it. Eritrea will get Oromo support. You wouldn't believe it, but it will happen. Look, when a southern Amara goes crazy, we support the northern Amara or the central Amara. Because the southern Amara always likes to step on the neck of the northern and the central Amaras. It's very complicated, my friend. It's gonna this is why we never had peace in Ethiopia.
But what like number of the Oromo community believes what you believe?
What number of Oromo community believe what I believe?
Yeah, roughly.
I would say 95%.
Of the 50 to 60 million Oromos, they don't want their region to be implemented and governed by their people. So they rather be running around supporting Eritrea, Fano, anyone.
No. The end goal. TDF refused to tell people what their end goal is. Is it independent state of Tigray or remain under Ethiopia?
Okay,
The end goal is out of one of these two options, right?
so let me tell you there though. So it's Tigray, by the way, not Tigray. Tigray is a group in Eritrea. So Tigray.
Tigray.
So the ultimate, so first and foremost is to free 100% of Tigray, to open a corridor. If it means we get access through Sudan, which is where the heavy military Eritrea and Amhara is based, we would primarily want to focus on open a corridor to Tigray to have food and medicine to our family. Anything outside south of Tigray, Alamata and whatnot, as long as Fano and PP are not coming pushing Kobo and whatnot, TDF wouldn't necessarily need to go further to decimate the enemy, obviously. But Western Tigray is under siege. So the logic, I was struggling to follow the logic that you were using because I'm focused on the siege in Tigray to be lifted. And
in 1991 when Eritrea got her independence, they gave Oromos a referendum too, and they saw the population voting at 94% for independent state of Oromia. That's when they decided to exit Oromos out of the Ethiopian chapter and bomb the armies. When they saw that we wanted to exit Ethiopia. Now, The end goal of Oromos is to establish independent state of Oromia. That's the clear one. But how are we going to get there? The only way we can get there is if Ethiopia gets dismantled. It's not even going to work through referendum because the people that watch the ballot box are not Oromos. And over 15 million people that are not Oromos are going to vote whether Oromo can establish independent state of Oromia or not. Because of that, we can't trust the ballot either, because non-Oromos supposedly would qualify to vote whether Oromo should get independent or not.
But if you have 60 million people and you have 15 million who we don't know who they are,
they're Amaras, mostly they're Amaras.
Right. So
and the remaining ones are Southern people.
But if you have 60 million, you subtract 15 million from 60, you still have 45 million strong to determine their destiny to make Oromia.
No. Yeah. It's not, we don't subtract 15 million. Those 15 million are not Oromos.
That's why you're subtracting them from the population.
Yeah, the whole population, the Oromo population doesn't include those 15 million.
Oh, gotcha.
So these 15 million people are residents of the capital city and the rest of the Amara residents throughout Oromia. Supposedly they're gonna come and vote with us about.
But isn't that where you just, send them like to their region peacefully, that you don't have to harm them, but they go back to their region?
No, that's not how they're gonna play. It's a dirty politics, and it's because of that. It cannot only be Oromo who's gonna say, "I want independence." Those people who used Ethiopia and robbed everybody else, they too gotta feel sick and tired of Ethiopia. Until then, we're not gonna see the independent state of Oromia. If we don't see the independent state of Oromia, we will make sure TDF, Fano, Ola, and anybody else who gets involved in Ethiopia, they wear them bogges and them barabasos and the dirty feet, and just poverty continues, my friend, and all of us. We all shine together, or we all remain in poverty together.
But in Tigray, it's not about poverty; it's about life and death. We're talking about the entire.
Friend, I don't know. It's new for you guys. You guys are like acting like as if a war is new for you guys. I mean, we're starving every year. We're starving every year. We live in full prison, and every year we're oppressed since Ethiopia came to us. Never one year we felt peaceful. We felt relaxed inside Ethiopia. Ever.
Yeah. But feeling relaxed versus what what you responded in the earlier segment is that, like, if you travel to the region, it may not be feeling safe, but if you can call people in the city, if they have bank money in the bank, they can take money and buy goods versus having poverty, actual poverty, whereas in Tigray, access is completely cut off, completely.
Right.
And those of us in the diaspora, we can't even reach out to our family to see who is dead or is alive to find out. So, and we're talking about the entire population. So it's not just new to us. It's like, it's like we're literally looking at potentially, if TDF doesn't push its way out of this crisis right now with Eritrea's massive deployment and Fano and the rest of PP's military. I mean, the amount of military manpower that we fight in Tigray, it's crazy. It's never happened in the history. And we didn't even have established military enough in Tigray when 2 years ago, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Fano came to Tigray.
What? You guys got all them stadium displays of your army?
What, 10,000 army?
We saw a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, 10,000.
That's the fact that you guys are armed to the nose, man. You guys are are free balling.
No, because the difference is that now we are, luckily, because people rose up when you have Eritrea, Fano coming in to completely go the amount of rape, the amount of killing they have done is galvanized Tagaru. So you were talking about 90% or 95% of like your population having one view, which is amazing because that's not what I hear from a lot of the Twitter guys. They talk about the issue they're having in the division, but you go to Tigray, literally every Tigrayans in Tigray is literally standing together to get through this fight one way or another. And I think, for me to think about even Ethiopia, this dirty country that did us so wrong. Like right now, I can't even like reach out to my family.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine.
It's just that I wish TDF comes clean, whether they want to establish independent state of Tigray or
But that's not up to TDF. That's up to the people of Tigray. You got to remember that. So TDF right now is a military.
Well, whatever Abiy is doing, we can just say it's up to the people of Ethiopia. That it'd be confusing then.
No, what I mean, Ethiopia, which you understand me. So
The
like
people,
right now,
the people is an inspiration.
Yeah, but which people though? Because right now, Ethiopia,
the inspiration of the people.
But you were talking about Ethiopia being dismantled. Ethiopia is already dismantled.
It's not even close.
Does the federal government of Ethiopia does they control the entire Tigray region?
They don't control Tigray region. That doesn't
does they
mean
control the entire Oromia region?
Pretty much.
Well, so why do they say Ola is like within like 30 to 50 kilometers to the capital?
That doesn't mean it's dismantled.
Well,
we're chilling.
No, is Oromia, so you're saying Oromia is controlled by the federal government still?
That's news making, right? Ola has been inside the capital city before even the capital city was established. So Ola goes in and out of the capital city as he wishes.
So you're saying like they're working with Abiy Ahmed?
No, this is their country. Where they're supposed to be if they're not nearby Finfinne or if they're not inside Finfinne.
No, fighting to take over Finfinne.
No, we don't. You never heard that from any Republican news. You must get that from, I don't know, Amara News maybe, to stir up, to cook up some narrative.
You ever watch The Voice of Reasons?
The Voice of Reasons.
Yep, an American YouTuber.
You should send me that link after this.
Definitely.
Yeah,
he'd be good. It'd be a good source because he monitors the whole event like on satellite.
that's what's up.
So he's pretty well. In fact, he did. He does it like almost daily. In fact, he did one today. I don't know if it'll cover Oromia or not, but
and now everybody has enough information now. Everybody's awake. Everybody's population is awake. Nobody's gonna be fooled nowadays. This mob.
So this is the guy with the Voice of Reason.
Voice of Reason. Today we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the Civil War and soon to be what could be an external war taking place, or a regional war taking place in and around the former state of Ethiopia. And before I
former state of Ethiopia.
This guy, I like this guy. I'm calling him like
you might be a little behind, buddy.
I want to touch on.
You just said it, the former state of Ethiopia.
That nation.
Just because the white boy said that, I'm not supposed to believe it, man. Come on, man.
Well, you got a couple of white boys behind on your display.
Explanation.
That's fine. I can have them behind me.
Of course. I like this guy.
Is happening.
He's very talented.
Until I experience it, I'm not just gonna believe.
All the
statement by anybody
of the world.
So he's gonna talk about Ola.
There are.
I know you don't support Ola, but
those are my boys, man. What you talking about?
It's truly evil.
I don't support the.
I thought you support Ola.
Brutal.
I don't support the OFC one.
Oh,
that rule over the people that within
Oromos are either Republicans
of those nations.
or, steak eaters, they
They
eat beef,
completely
they eat
and
sheep's, goats.
unadulterated
The other
food,
Oromos are, we call them Libros. Ethiopian
and
is Libros. They eat Dora
is
with that Dora with
not
so you
community.
have them
today's
split to three.
North Korea.
Yeah.
And if you were to do any research about North Korea, and you are a reasonable person, you would come to that conclusion as well. Please, I encourage anyone who watches YouTube to go in and look at some of the Western YouTubers that have made it into the quote unquote hermit kingdom and have observed the goings on in that nation state. It is a brutal, brutal country, and it's one of the reasons
Is he
why
talking about Eritrea?
the United
Yep.
States has a Second Amendment. North Korea is the worst case scenario of government overreach. It is a classic example of far left tyranny that has just gone off the rails. And that's what you see inside of North Korea today. It is a brutal, brutal regime. And no one, absolutely no rational or reasonable person can look at what is happening in North Korea. Who is Eritrea's closest ally right now? Well, its closest ally is this guy by the name of Abiy Ahmed, ruler of the former state of Ethiopia. He took power in 2018.
This guy, man.
Very, very quickly cozied up to the despotic regime inside of Eritrea. And
I
again,
think Isaias is Abiy's dad.
comparing and contrasting a regime
Or
in
partner in
Eritrea
crime.
that is on
Nah, they
par,
look so much alike, bro.
maybe even worse than what you see in North
So
Korea.
here's Ola.
But I'll allow you to do your own investigation.
I know what happened there.
That's good, man. That's good. I think I've seen that video. I've seen somebody narrate it like that using a satellite once. It
No, this was
might be the same.
released today. He releases them like daily.
Yeah, I think I saw it once. I'm like, who's pinpointing it like that for him? Where the offenses are? You hear me,
Who's what?
Mikey? Who
Yep.
who made those offenses highlights for him? I mean, with the satellite, he's not gonna see it with the satellite from the space.
Well, it's also there's like a company like if you have a business, you can have access to satellite images like this for
Right.
surveys and various things.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, you
only-
can do surveys. Exactly. You do surveys with it, but you're not able to pinpoint the soldiers. You can't pinpoint the soldiers like that with that. You got to get a YouTube plane and get a little bit lower.
Well, I think the companies who does these kind of data, like they give you the zooming maneuver on it. So, and it's only like I think it's the U.S. and Israel, the only country that have the capability like this.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like,
They
they
get them
can
YouTube
pinpoint.
planes.
Yep.
That YouTube plane gets really, really high up there, and no other planes can even see them, and then it starts zoomed
That's
in
right.
images. Well, my friend, we're coming toward the end of the show. So,
Sounds
I'm being really honest with you. War is a war. Not everybody's enemy. Not everybody's, permanent enemy, and all of that. The statements that goes in are statements at the end of the day. But the greatest threat in keeping Ethiopia alive is South Amara and North Shawa, my friend. And you, TDF, dealt with that As a TPLF, you guys dealt with that. You guys couldn't break them. And now somehow they managed to get back the power that Mengistu took from them. What Mengistu took from them, oh boy, he whipped them really bad. He whipped them really bad. That is why, for Oromo Republicans, I know they're all bad. They're all terrible leaders. The better Evo is Mengistu from all these 5 leaders we had.
I think Abiy is the worst.
I think, I don't know, Minilik might be the worst. Abiy might come second worst. Malasa might come third worst. Haile Selassie might come fourth worst. The fifth
Oh, no.
worst. Fifth
But
worst is
listen, wait.
Mengistu. Haile Selassie was lazy, not even skilled. He didn't build anything. All he did was collect the taxes and go around the world and keep black people oppressed. With his
Just like Abiy Ahmed.
Yeah, he sets up black people. Like when I say black people, like leaders of other countries, he sets them up. So is Menelik, bro. They were both cowards. So the real G was Mengistu. I mean, what Mengistu did when you go to Ethiopia, you can still see it today. All that farming he set up and all this water irrigation that he built, the education that he opened up, both for the women and everybody else. Perhaps he was the only person who said, I'm going to build Ethiopia. Menelik and Haile Selassie were building Amara region. Mallas was building Tigray region. Abiy is now trying to build the Amara region. Mengistu was just whooping everybody evenly across the board, I believe. When he whooped everybody across the board, we, the Oromo Republicans, like it. Everybody who just whoops Ethiopia. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, so in a few weeks, we should see something more productive, and we should reconnect on Twitter, man.
100%. Hey, no hard feelings at the Oromo Republicans show. TDF, good luck to you guys. You guys are
Thank you.
strong.
You guys too.
Keep up the fight.
Yeah, of course.
Make it clear. Let your leaders know. Make it crystal clear. You guys want.
Well, we're very clear. We want to save our people. We want our region. We don't need anything more, anything less, and we want our people in Finfinay to come out safely.
That got a loophole. We don't trust that one.
Well,
you want independence out of Ethiopia or not? If you want to remain inside Ethiopia, we think the war should continue.
No, that we don't need to worry about Ethiopia. Our worry is about Tigray.
Well, my friend, if you can have your own army and keep your region, if Amaras have their own army and keep their region, if Oromos have their own army and keep their region, what is Ethiopia then?
That's my point. It's gone.
No, it's not gone because you all is still there.
People will be there. No, you're not thinking rational because people are not going to go anywhere. People still will be there no matter what. Armed groups will be there forever.
Exactly. We want our region. So what is the federal going to do then?
It's gone. The federal is gone. Abiy Ahmed would be gone.
Then just who is going to be replaced by?
You don't need to replace him.
Then why don't you just be clear and say we're going for independent state of Tigray?
No, we're going for saving our people right now because our people are on siege. To be independent, you have to save your people.
What happens after you save your people? That's what you said. Back in the 80s, you guys were saying we're just gonna save our people from Mengistu. That's not what happened. That's not the end of it. That's not what
there's a saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me.
So you guys don't want to fool us twice?
No, we're not gonna allow. That's not but you're not understanding it's the saying. Fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, meaning that we're not gonna let our leadership to go back the same idea to integrate and protect and serve for Ethiopia or to be in charge of Ethiopia. We don't care about Ethiopia. What we care is about everybody's safety in their region and our people in Tigray to be safe, wherever Tigrayans are outside Tigray to safely come back to Tigray. and then our army can stay put in Tigray, and our focus is north, not south. Our main number one enemy is
Why
not
you keep
Ola,
saying region?
huh?
Why you keep saying region?
No, I say north.
No, before you said north, you were saying region.
Well, for right now, it's already, yeah. You got Oromia region, you got Tigray region. These two regions have their own army, so it's a matter of like time, before both sides like end up having enough military to control their own region. Those regions eventually, through a transitional system within the country, have to be like split through a process that guarantees each region, each people to be protected
How
by
come?
their own.
How come TDF or Tigaru leadership has hard time saying the end goal of Tigaru is to establish independent state?
Because you can't establish independence until before you save your people. You have what you missing is, could you imagine if Oromia right now is attacked by the entire federal Ethiopia? You bring another country. Can you imagine that?
Oh yeah, easily. I imagine that easily.
And we don't have the number, like you guys have 60 million people. We have like roughly 10 to 12 million people. But you know how the Amharas are. They tell us like we're like 3 to 4 million people.
How can we trust you guys if you say right now our goal is to save our people? What will happen after you save your people then?
To where?
I don't know.
You have, why would we have 60 million people? Like, you're not living like 20, 30 years ago. It's the 21st century. You have technology. You should be able to have the confidence to arm your people to make sure they are like Oromo nationalists, not Ethiopian nationalists. So if you build the momentum of Oromo nationalists, they're armed to serve and protect Oromia, then what is the worry about Ethiopia?
That doesn't lead to independent state of Oromia.
No, you can't have independence until you actually control your region and your destiny. Then you will go through the independent process. But first, you need to strengthen your military. You need to like conquer your territory.
Here is the thing. Why you guys have hard time saying the end goal? We can't ride with you. We have hard time riding with you guys.
No, I just gave you the answer, but you repeated the same thing over and over. So we want to take care of and protect our people in our region. Anywhere outside our region, we want them to be back safe.
Okay, that's your temporary goal.
That's right. And the long-term goal,
I understand your temporary goal.
The long-term goal is we peacefully say adios.
Yeah. Every time something happens, man. Like last time you guys said international community tell us to stop making further advancements. So we stopped at Shower Rabbit. You guys said that last time. But don't make stop, man.
Well, if you support Ola, here's the thing. Ola,
every time PDF stops fighting, Abiy regroups.
Right. And where is he getting those troops from? You just even said it. You'll be willing to supply young Oromos to go fight for Abiy.
What the hell am I supposed to do when you stop fighting? I need to make you fight. I got to send Abiy to attack you again. Then how am I going to do that? Give Abiy some money. It's that simple, my friend.
And the suffering of my family in Tigray.
Stop talking about the suffrage because we're all suffering.
Why would I stop? No, but that's my family.
We're in war. You're going to win.
We're not. No, this is ethnic cleansing. That's different. War is fighting military to military.
We have 150 years of ethnic cleansing. It's not new. It can be maybe new to Tigarus, but it's not new to us.
Not a siege the way they did it though. The way you're justifying it doesn't make sense because you have
actual armed to the nose. I mean, Abiy was scared. Yeah, that's why he's only throwing the drones. And guess who's giving him the drones? The international community. He has no soldier. Abiy has no soldiers.
Yeah, because It's the opposite of what you're thinking, because the international community is actually the one that wants to make sure Ethiopia does not get dismantled.
For sure, man. Stay Republican, man. In America too, man. You guys stay Republican.
And guess what? It is a Republican in the U.S. that doesn't want to see Ethiopia being dismantled. Every time we have a Republican president,
Not just
Ethiopia,
Republican, bro. All of them. It's the strategic policies in the region doing that.
That's very true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
It's not Republican or whatnot, but you know, mentally, you know, the Republicans know when people desire their country, the Republicans have way more respect for another Republican than a Democrat would.
The Republicans in the United States are more chicken and more scared.
Come on, man. The Dems are the chicken, man. Look, when Obama became a president, how many countries went into all-out wars?
I think when Obama became president, the world was becoming a better place.
Arab Spring shot up. And then Joe Biden becomes a president, hell loose in Western Europe and Africa. How many coups did happen in Africa as soon as Joe Biden took office? Like 6, 7 coups in Africa started. And Putin is like, oh, this is gonna be easy invasion, and he went to Europe. But that's that, my friend. Let's just keep talking, man. Let's just keep talking. If we don't
Sounds good, buddy.
Communication is disconnected. I hope TDF establishes the independent state of Tigarus, and this they cannot do it by trickery or shortcuts.
There you go.
Come out and let's talk. I appreciate you all. Dr. Jensen will be coming on Monday, and Matt Berg will be coming on Thursday too. Let's have conversations. Let's keep the honesty going. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful night.